Welcome, ladies and gents, to another Age of Empires 2 game. I know you're shocked to see this on the channel, but what might come as a little bit of a shock, because the first part of this intro was sarcasm, is that we've got some mid-elo action here, okay? So we've got 1250 elo. If you know the rating scale for Age of Empires 2, average is about 900 to 1,000. 1250, these guys have practiced, these guys have some good Civ knowledge, and there's some wacky stuff that they do. So we've got Silver Python here in the blue playing as the Portuguese. And then in the red, we've got the Gurjaras for Simply DT. And right off the bat, I'm thinking, does Simply DT understand the Gurjara start? Because with the Gurjaras, you can place your sheep inside of your mill to get a little bit of a long-term food trickle. And it looks to me like red seems to have an idea, as we see some sheep coming over, and they're finding themselves somewhere inside of that mill. I don't know how they can fit. Honestly, like that little donkey is really running around in circles a lot, and maybe he's mushing up the goats. I don't know. We don't need to zoom in on that too much. What we do need to see is that Silver Python, who's maybe not too fond of the Gurjaras, has come forward to try and lame, as we call it. So blue trying to take every advantage he can, stealing some goats. Goats are on the way back. Now he's going to try and steal a rhino, and red's like, hold on a second. Why is my rhino leaving here? And now red is here to try and deny this. Now, blue hasn't had the best execution with this lame. Blue has also started to run the complete opposite direction. So maybe that's one of those things that blue could do if uncontested. But all that has really ended up happening here is blue has stolen 2 goats and lost a lot of scout HP, which could be pretty important. Now, I have already seen bits and pieces of this game, so I'm going to use the next couple minutes as we see red weakening the board with the TC and taking it underneath the TC. I just want to, say a couple things apart from the game. For the next week and a half, I'm going to be spending a little bit more time. Red, be careful. Nice. A little bit more time doing some YouTube-only casts. I'm just not going to be streaming as much the next 7 or 8 days, and so I'm not going to be getting as much from streams. And long-term, I kind of want to return to, let's say, I have an uploaded day, which is what I've done for the last 2 years. I like to, if it's feasible, and it won't always be feasible depending on what I have going on, have 2 or 3 of my casts be sit down, make for only YouTube-style videos. So I'll just say, if you appreciate the extra effort, if you appreciate these casts where maybe there aren't other distractions, or, it doesn't come from anything live streamed, then just give the video a like. I will look to see the comments and the amount of likes on content that I do. And while sometimes that's completely random, it is always nice to, get some feedback in that way. So, all right. So a moment ago, red weakened the boar with the town center, right? Red did not think about the fact that this rhino, not a boar, is already a little bit weak from the earlier lane. So, well, actually, no. I'm not even sure if that would have made a difference. Red, you can't shoot it twice with 7 inside of the TC. So now red has lamed himself. Poor red has lamed himself. He's down, 3 goats? Oh my goodness. He's down 4 goats? He's down a lot of goats. And then down 400 food because he just shot the rhino with the TC. So at this point, many people in red's position might just be like, well, I've lost this game, right? I've got 0 chance. Build order out the window. Everything's super messy. But yeah, originally when I had breezed through this recorded game, I thought that maybe it was because the rhino had taken damage before. But actually, you just cannot shoot the rhino twice with 7 villagers inside. You can shoot it twice with 6 villagers inside, which is probably what red tried to do. That right there is probably why the majority of you don't try the TC weakening trick, because it's simply just not worth it for you, because in the off chance that you end up losing your boar, it ruins your whole game. Here comes blue. Is blue going to lose a villager? Of course blue is. So a messy game here. Red maybe a little bit peeved at the moment, says that was lame. And blue is, has lost the villager and is probably frustrated with himself. Has not responded yet. But I know blue does respond. Blue's going to say something in a minute. Meanwhile, red is just trying to get as much food as possible. And did a good job here to push in some food. A very open map generation here. Gurjaras are known for they have pretty good scout build. Especially if your opponent goes scouts, it can be really strong because this camel scout, does additional bonus damage starting in feudal. So you're kind of hoping that the opponent goes scouts. I don't think you should ever do that against the Gurjaras. I think you should always open archers if you can. The Silver Python, scared to move forward with the weak scout, still pushing in tons of food, has obviously collected way more than his opponent. And, you got these guys chatting right now. That was lame. Yes, sorry. And then the smiley face from Red. Good to see Red's in a good mood, considering everything that's gone wrong in this game. And Red's build-up is going to be a little bit off. But overall, I mean, the resources are there to make the stable. The timing will be right. And there's going to be some food to make scouts. So, that's pretty decent. Meanwhile, I don't know what Blue is planning on. But, the structure's not exactly there. I think Blue's like, oh boy, I need the archer range, or I need a stable. I've got all this food right now. I like Blue's awareness, though. Blue, seeing that Camel Scout, wisely runs away. Red starts to attack, realizes maybe he shouldn't do that with his Camel Scout. Probably very confused on what his opponent's doing right now. And keeping a close eye on things. Camel Scout did not see that, though. We do have the stable going up for Red. And again, it's Arabia, so it's a very open map. And you can expect some craziness on open maps. Because it's just so execution-based, right? And I really like mid-elo open maps because players can't wall up as much. There's some mistakes. I mean, we saw Blue lose a villager, fail to steal a boar, and then we saw Red shoot the boar, or his or her boar, with the TC. So it's been a sloppy game so far. And the beauty is anything can happen. Not quite low elo legends, anything can happen. But, mid-elo, which I want to work into my content more and more. Some wild things happen. So, we just have some ostrich being taken here by Blue. Blue's got tons of food. It's a little risky to be sitting out here. But then again, Blue does have the spearman. And Blue forgot to make a house for a second. It's going to make a house now. Going to head over to gold. Everything's all over the place balance-wise, right? I'd say with Red has a pretty set plan after these scouts. And that's just going to be to farm around the TC, I imagine. Oh, God, all the straggler trees are gone, so the villagers aren't going to be close. But anyways, let's not focus too much on that. Red wants some freaking revenge, right? So Red's like, come on. What are you doing? Sees the berries, sees the TC now. Seemed pretty happy to run underneath that TC originally. Let's see how Red's scout micro is. This is good from Red. Pulls away the spearman as being a little annoying guy on this side. I'm not sure he knew about it. Blue knew about it. Blue fights it off. Blue has to run back. Stressful times. This is why people don't like to play the open maps. Red struggling to really target one villager there. But, I mean, look at Blue's economy. Blue's got so many villagers running around. What are you doing, Red? So, I mean, Blue's got 0 farms. Blue's got 3 spears, 3 archers. And this has given Red time. But the big thing you've got to do if you're in Red's position, you're low on food, is you've got to pull villagers off of wood and make farms. In a normal game, if he had not killed his rhino the way he did, you'd still have straggler trees, I think. And then you pull the villagers off of the straggler trees and just place farms around the TC in the mill. But Red's probably like, whew, that was an eventful moment. We're going to run around now with this scout. And meanwhile, we're going to try and wall. Now, if you heard my intro, at least I think it was in the intro. Forgive me, I actually started this and then started the recording over again. I do that sometimes because I'm like, no, this was not good enough. Well, anyways, either in the intro you're not going to hear or in the actual intro, which happened in this video, I'm stupid, I'm sorry. I talked about how there's a fake in this, and you probably are watching at this point and you're like, this is false advertising. Nothing has been faked. Well, this is going to get fun, okay? Red's trying to wall, but I'm sure after seeing this, Red's kind of thinking, oh my goodness, I'm not sure if I can complete that wall. It's also possible Red is like me. I will use select all idols pretty frequently in messy games to send them to do stuff. So I think maybe this villager was part of a group. If she goes to gold, that's exactly what he did. Okay, never mind. I have no clue. Anyways, here comes Blue, right? So Blue's like, all right, the scout rush didn't work on me. Let's move forward now, and let's try and kill as much as possible. And Blue sees the houses. And well, Blue's like, crap. I don't like that. I need to break in and kill this guy. Meanwhile, Blue's kind of sort of walling up everywhere. So, okay, here comes Blue. And, Blue watches a lot of games, I'm sure. Blue's been around the community for a bit. And Blue's like, well, crap. My opponent's walled already. I knew I should have practiced my build order to get the archers out faster. And red says hi. And blue, you know, he sees that. I'm not sure if he's going to type back. So blue is now attacking red's wall. And red says, I see you. Obviously, red's going to get the attack noise, right? It's not a complete wall. It's not a complete wall. Now, red has been through a lot in this game. And I really appreciate red's spirit, right? Because I think a lot of people, especially if they had kind of a rough day before they get on, they could get frustrated with how this game is gone. But blue thinks this is completely walled. It's wide open. This is amazing. The blue's spending all this time attacking here. And what it's doing is it's giving red time to add more walls. And also prep some army to defend from this. Now, blue, meanwhile, is making more archers. That's something blue's done consistently now. Is fully walled to the front where there's going to be a gate as well. So now blue comes through. And from blue's perspective, blue might see the end pieces here. And red says, that was fake wall. I love it. Red is a champ, dude. Red is a champ. So anyways, this is giving red time to prep skirms, right? The skirm number wasn't that high before. And so now blue is going to get in here, see the skirmishers, and think, oh no, that's not so good for me. And now blue, perhaps wisely, runs away, thinking, I don't want to lose my army to this. Now, let's look at resources collected in this game. Red has collected more. So the player who got lamed himself and everything, actually has collected more. And that's because of the farming. And these guys are they're 1250 elo, right? Blue says ingenious, so blue, compliments the guy. But I was wondering as I was watching this, like, man, what is blue going to do? Like, blue's going to have to seed so many farms, which is true. But a lot of archer players, guys, they don't like to macro all that well. They just get enough, and then they say, hello, market, you're my best friend. And boom, look at this. Selling stone, buying food. Selling wood, buying food. Just trying to get enough. And what's nice about this is you put a lot more of your focus on always producing archers. That's, the big part about your build. So you're always going to have the archer production. And the idea is obviously you kill quick. In the event that you lose your whole archer mass against the counter unit, then at that point you look at your economy and you think, well, what do I do now? Right? There's like no real backing out of this. But for blue's just thinking archers. And I mean, red's got skirmishers. And so anyways, these guys have been super chatty. And, red just sitting here waiting. Red is still open on this side. And now red's going to chase. And blue says, just now, chase me. And red's like, is this a trick? Because I tricked him with the wall? Like, it almost seems too good to be true that he would bring the archers back towards your skirmishers after saying chase me. Like, it's almost like your opponent would have scouts or something waiting to kill the skirmishers, or he's going to go knights or something. But guys, we had the fake wall. Look at blue. This is so sick. So he's got this little force, right? Couple nice hits there with the spearmen. Scouts are very weak. And then blue's over here. So from red's perspective, red's like, oh, what is he doing? He's such an idiot, man. I'm going to track him down. And now, boom. You fake wall me. I fake army, you fool. Look at this. Archers sit on the gold. I really like what blue did here. He put them on stand ground. You could tell red's distracted by this. Red's like, I'm winning this fight. Blue has forgotten about this. Red still has not reacted to the fake army. And blue says fake army smiley face. And I think maybe now red's going to realize this. I mean, red still hasn't shown any sign of reacting because now red is here. Now, red had been creating camels on the way to Castle Age. The Gujaras can do that. So they're now upgraded to Camel Rider. But camels are very weak against archers. In fact, camels are pretty much only good against knights. Like, that's our cavalry, right? So that's like the downside of the camel is they don't have as much utility. You can't use them in as many situations. So the archers, they are going to end up clearing this up. Both players took some losses, but red's really going to have to rely on skirmishers to deal with this. And what a funny game, right? Fake wall and the fake army. 2 fakes in 1 game. I appreciate it. And let's see what red can do from here, because red has the same vil count. Needs to start clearing up some army. This fight is a little bit awkward. Also, let's just say that. Skirmishers do have the hill, though. They do have the numbers. It takes a long time to research Elite Skirm, though. It costs quite a bit of wood and gold for that. Elite Skirm will be very important here, and so Red's probably saving up for it. You might look at this and say, why isn't Red saving the vills? Well, Red's probably with these vills and with this army and thinking about walling. There's a lot of different things that's happening. And in Red's mind, Red probably thought that that army would just be killed, but Blue did a really good job running around. So, you know, Blue, I mentioned this before, did get some good eco upgrades this game. But you could tell just wants to make archers. Portuguese gold units are very cheap. Portuguese have good archers, so you can do this. Not really going for any knights, it seems. And I wouldn't want to go for knights either, necessarily. I think a combination of crossbow and crossbow and knight can be good. But you don't want to make knights into Gurjara camels that do additional bonus damage. So for Blue, who finally lost the remaining army, I guess the army you could deem the fake army, comes forward with the Siege Workshop. But guys, look at this stat real quick. 40% of the time that archer range has been producing, right? I want to look at Blue's. It's probably not perfect, but both of them collectively 83%. Blue's always been producing crossbowmen. And so, you know, you're going to play games where you think, what units do I make, right? But sometimes you just got to make more units, and sometimes it's about more consistency. I talk about this all the time with idle TC, right? Producing villagers with consistency is a big thing. Same thing here with the crossbowmen. And Red's going to now mix in the siege because Red had seen the skirms, and for Blue, is going to mix in the siege because Red has seen the skirms. And I think I said that wrong again. I said it wrong twice. I'm not even going to try and say it. You know what I'm talking about, okay? Anyways, Red is not going for Elite Skirmisher. Red has not gone for any blacksmith upgrades in the Castle Age. Red is thinking Shravamsha Riders. And the way Shravamshas work are pretty interesting because they dodge, as it's called in the game. So what that means is they soak up the first bit of damage, but boom! Oh no! The skirms. I mean, Red's like, I'm not going to upgrade these, so let's just try and do something. Actually, he did upgrade them. I'm wrong. But what I have found recently, guys, is that the Shravamsha doesn't feel all that good against big groups of archers. Where the Shravamshas can be strong is they can pick off the low numbers really easily, and they're really fast, so if you can get into your opponent's base, it's just such an amazing raiding unit. But on its own against a big ball like this, I think you would really need siege. So 40 villagers for Blue, 38 for Red. We'll see, if Red wants to go for a raid. Red was mining stone, probably hoping to make a defensive castle at some point. And now Red's going to place some beautiful farms over here. Could always farm around this mill, but hard to realize in the moment. And Blue is just like, I want more archers. And while we're at it, let's just drop a university. Maybe think about some university upgrades that can help our army. As he's just pushing. Now, what you want to do in Red's position here, guys, because it's looking pretty dire, is you want to raid. Because you can't address this army. What you can do against this army is siege. So you go Siege Workshop maybe on this hill, wait for him to come in, and then hope to bop him. But the only way back in this game really is to counterattack. And the opportunity was there. You could see Blue now paying attention to that with some house walls. Red, desperate now, going to use the market like Blue did earlier, buying and selling resources. Unfortunately, is now 10 stone away from a castle. So it's going to need to sell a lot more and buy more stone. And there we go. Red's going to drop it here. And this castle, I'm not sure what it really does. But you're kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't, as they say. Because if you drop the castle here, you keep your TC and your farms alive. But then Blue can go this way. If you place it here, yeah, you hope that Blue freaks out about it and goes back home. But Blue can always go this way as well. Blue, I mean, 3 on food, guys. 3 on food. We might see these villagers go back to the farms. I think they were farmers before. But it's just been the same thing for Blue all game. Let's just go archers. Boom. Mass ton of archers. And you can get to probably like... I mean, you can get well above the 1250 elo by just making the same unit the entire game. I truly believe that. I think archers is your best bet. I think if you were to like make scouts the whole game, for example, that's rough. You technically would have to switch into knights. But red is hoping this Shrivamsha Rider is good enough. No bloodlines, no armor. Only 8 attack, and you'll see initially they don't take damage, but then they melt. Plus there's pikemen in there as well. And red, I think, has forgot about this. I think red has wanted to forget about this no good, rotten day. Opponent tried to lame him, then he lamed himself, then he had a fake wall, and then the fake army really got him here. And as I'm sure you guys can see, this game is pretty much over. I mean, the TC is going to go down, so we could say goodbye to that. We're going to have a new TC here from red. But this is a player who's staring at this like, what more do I do? What went wrong in this game? And not really willing to accept that this game is over. But I mean, here's the deal, guys. Blue's economy hasn't been insane. And red just now added the Siege Workshop. I think if you rewatch this, if you're red, you had opportunities there to counterattack with your Shrivamshas. Even if you're just attacking the walls, right? Like, that's going to be blue getting distracted. And you could get some massive shots. Like, blue's just got so many crossbowmen here, just all clumped up together. I mean, blue almost killed his own units there. But yeah, blue's doing the right thing. Knows about the castle, so it's just shifting away. Again, I did breeze through this game. And initially, I think red made a Scorpion because red might not have had the resources for a Mangonel. But you really have to go Mangonel here. If your opponent has Mangonels, definitely go Mangonel. Scorpions are a bit better against low numbers of crossbowmen. You can see now red's got the idea, attacking the blacksmith there. Blue's going to drop a town center. Blue also getting ballistics. And I think the stress of the situation has certainly gotten to red. And red's now going to have no town center, and red is just abandoning ship. So, isn't actually behind all that much with eco. Look, like there was a hole there this whole time. And it's going to make life awkward for blue to pay attention to this army, as blue's going to steal some of these goats. This goat's like, where are you going, guys? Where are you going? We're supposed to go this way. No, let's go back home. Very confusing times for these goats. I really feel for them. I guess maybe that goat's going to head home. But, you know, seeing a little awkward here. Like, getting some value from 3 units. Very good stuff. Lots of idle time for blue. Blue can't advance forward with the army quite as quickly. And those would be the opportunities. You counterattack, and then suddenly, bam, big Mangonel shot or 2. That could have been really strong. Where are these goats going to go? They're so unacclimated with real life, right? They've been imprisoned in that mill for so long. They're going to head over to this mill. They want to go back, but they can't. The Portuguese, they just don't house the goats inside of the mill. Anyways, red, you know, he's making my life a little bit more difficult in terms of casting this game because, well, I am sitting here talking about goats, and this guy misses all of his friends, and he doesn't have a mill. Blue is still only ahead by 3 villagers, but does have 67 army. And again, I think red maybe had a bit of a bad day. I'm not going to hold this against him. I don't really like to see players play on this long. Like, if you know you're dead, you should probably have respect for your opponent and call the GG. But then again, you know, maybe he doesn't know. Maybe he has to learn in this game that he is indeed dead as these villagers wall and will eventually die back here. We do have a new TC from red. And we have villagers running this way, potentially for a new TC as well. I was thinking that red was going to drop a castle, actually. That'd be pretty funny. YOLO castle. The theme of the videos this week, by the way, is going to be lots of castle drops. So if you like castle drops and games that can all come down to an important moment, and pay attention to content this week. But red still refusing to quit. I'm fast forwarding for a reason. This was a good game with a lot of fakes. Blue played it really well. And blue's probably like, what's going on here, man? Isn't like telling him to resign, isn't calling GG. Sometimes if you call GG for someone, they get even more frustrated with their situation. But I mean, anyways, red says, holy shit, nice range. And then blue says thanks. And I think the game ends here as red says GG. Honestly, very good game from red considering the circumstances. I think the key thing for red was not getting baited by blue's army. But the other thing was probably playing into Elite Skirm. Because if you hold the map with Elite Skirm, the Siege Workshop never happens. Then your opponent has to go for a Siege Workshop from home. Go back to like middle of this game. Okay, so let's say about here, right? Okay, so you've got 10 skirmishers, your opponent's got 16 crossbowmen. You've got lots of food and wood. From this point onwards, I know this was a problem for Red. You just continue to play into skirms. Play into skirms and figure it out from there would be my advice to you, Red. Still a really good game. Well played from Silver Python. Not every day that you see as much faking as we did in that game. And more wood, more gold, more stone collected. Not more food for Blue, who had a very low food approach. But Blue dominated with the archers there. Yet again, guys, if you enjoyed the cast, if you enjoyed the variety, leave a like or a comment. Or both. Or none. It's fine. I appreciate you guys watching. We'll have more content all week. Of course, upload every single day. Like I said, I think 2 of the next 5 or 6 uploads are going to incorporate castle drops. And it's going to be fun. Let's just leave it at that. See you next time.